Të dashur teleshikues të televizionit të Shqiptarëve të Amerikës, në emisionin tonë Argument, sot kemi ftuar një kandidat tjetër shqiptaro-amerikan i cili po kandidon në New York në emër të Partisë Republikane në distriktin e 14 që përfshin zonat e Bronxit dhe Queensit. Në fakt kjo zonë është një zonë përgjithsisht demokrate, pasi kandidatja e demokratëve progresist e mirënjohura Aleksandra Ocasio-Cortez është deputete e kësaj zone. Por kemi një shqiptaro-amerikan, një biznesmen të njohur, i cili ka ardhur nga Kosova në moshë mjaft të njohur dhe është rritur dhe ka ndërtuar biznesin e tij këtu në Shtetet e Bashkuara, i cili ka menduar dhe mendon që ka ardhur koha që ai të futet në politikë, por në një betejë mjaft të ashpër, në një zonë që, siç po shohim në New York, edhe me kandidatin demokrat për kryetar të bashkisë, po anon mjaft majtas. Kam pra këtu para jush zotin Diamant Hysenaj, i cili kandidon për zonën e 14, distriktin e 14. Diamant, mirë se erdhët.
Përshëndetje, faleminderit.
Unë bëra një rezume të shkurtër tuaj, ju keni një biznes tuaj të ndërtuar me forcën e vullnetit dhe me forcën e punës suaj në gjithë këta vite, një biznes i suksesshëm, por pyetja ime e parë është e tillë. Çfarë të shtyn ty që të futesh në politikë nga biznesi?
Është pyetje mirë, shpesh e veti veten që të pyetje. Është kona koha. Vetë kom punu në këtë drejtimin e drejtimtarisë me palata, ndërtesa, restorante, në konti e përcjell politikën edhe në New York. Gjithkohë, pavarësisht New York është sa demokrat, një rrit shpejt demokrate me këtë politikë jam mësu qyshëri. Po është koha për ndrim, se nuk është më partia demokratëve sikurse ka ekzistuar përpara. U ndru, është bon kaq të parti. Unë kom pa sikur në biznesin tim ku kom qenë për një problem, atë që është mi rregulluar, që është mi zgjedhat problem. Në këtë aspekt, s'ka kandidata se kanë vullnet me hisë republikan në zonë demokratë dhe ku hupin të më herët. Unë kom pa që aty e kom pa shansën se është koha për me himi për huqë ata.
Okay. Now, in order that this interview can be seen not only from Albanian Americans, but to be seen also from the Americans who also will vote for you, which support the Republican Party in the 14th district. Which is the specific that you think that you have better than the other competition? Do you have in the primaries? Do you have other Republican candidates in the same district or no?
Yes, as of right now, there's 4 Republican candidates that have filed with the Federal Elections Committee, with the FEC. I'm one of them. There's one that's ran in 2 cycles, but came up short both times by a big number. And the other 2, I'm not really sure much about them. They seem just like they're putting their name for whatever reason, but we don't really see our challenge is going to be the general election, which is going to be November of next year. The primary
that's a big fight, I will say. But
yeah, that's right.
You think that you have the support not only of the Albanians in the area, because Bronx, I know there are a lot of Hispanics and other populations. So have you worked with other communities in order to ensure their support in order to be elected?
Yeah, absolutely. So District 14, which is parts of the Bronx and parts of the Queens, it has about 720,000 constituents, residents in the area. 50% of them are immigrants, like myself. And about 52% of those people are of Hispanic background, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, and so on. Dominicans and Puerto Ricans being the majority of the Hispanics that are in the neighborhood. Of course, we have a big block of Albanians. You have the Bengalis. You have an Asian community. So it's a mosaic of cultures, which makes me perfect for the role, and it gives me an advantage not only on the candidates that are going to be in the primary, but the actual incumbent of who's holding office. Like 50% of the district, I'm an immigrant, so I have that in common with them. I came here at the age of 9 years old. Came from a small farm in Kosovo, and I came to the big city of New York in the concrete jungle. And I had a lot of trials and tribulations that none of the candidates, not just in New York 14, but almost throughout the country, don't really have. And the sense of patriotism towards America, and also remembering where I come from and my roots. And it gives me an advantage because when I go speak to the Italians, the Albanians, the Irish, which are some of the dominant forces that have been around and are in business there, and I speak to the leaders of the Dominican community and Puerto Rican, and I'm not just dealing with the Republicans. I'm a middle of the ground kind of guy. So I have a lot of Democrats in my camp. I have a lot of Democrats supporting me, and I'm speaking to all the communities throughout the district. And we have a big advantage on the Republican side, and we're going to put up a big fight versus Democrats on the actual general election because they haven't seen something like me before. I'm not a politician.
So, yeah, I see you are not a politician per se. You're coming from business. You're coming like President Trump from another field and jumping in the politics. And it is very good that Albanians now, they think to be involved in the American politics because they are also the part of the American politics, but why you can vote and support another, that's not bad that to support another one that has the same views, but it's better to have Albanian representative in Congress. We have a guy here in Michigan, Robert Lulgjuraj. He also is not coming from politics. And I was in one of his events, and he was talking to the kickoff event there, and I asked an American lady. She was a politician. She was trying to be elected in my district, and she said, "I never seen a Republican candidate like him, because he is not a politician." And that's important, especially in that conglomerate that you said, in Bronx and area, especially there are too many Hispanics. How is the attitude of the Latino community towards Republicans? Because I know they mostly before were voting Democrats, and now after the President Trump election, a part of them passed on the Republican side.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a good question because if you look at the voting history, on this past cycle in November, New York State has the biggest movement towards the Republican Party out of the whole union. So Hispanics in big numbers, because they're the majority in the Queens and the Bronx district that I'm in, they voted in big numbers in favor of President Trump, and then crossed the ticket and voted for Democrat Congress and other positions. So it was a very interesting dynamic. So you had people who voted for President Trump and then voted for Congresswoman AOC on the same ticket, and they couldn't be more spectrums apart. So it was very interesting to read.
Yeah, that is very interesting. But have you thought any debate with AOC if you are elected I would like a debate. She is not a good debater. She says a lot of nonsense.
Well, that's at this stage of the campaign, it's not in her radar. Providing that we feel very confident we're going to win the Republican primary, and it's not going to be close. It's going to be by a long shot. We really feel confident about that. We feel confident that we're going to turn the seat from blue to red and make history, but never mind the primary. So if the polling gets close pre-election, she has a lot of money in the bank that she can use to flood the waves. She controls all the council members except one. She has all the assembly in her pocket. She's got the soon-to-be potential mayor in her pocket. She's got Bernie Sanders, who comes to New York and advocates for the progressive agenda. So she's very strong nationally and as a figure. But if you look at her historical election data, she won her election in 2018 by 78 points. And her last cycle in 24, she won by 68. So she's raising money. She's raising money and her popularity is getting high. But in the district where she's a ghost and nobody sees her, she hasn't done anything for it, she's dropped a lot of points.
I know, and one of the reasons was that gaffe, from my point of view, she made with Amazon. Not accept-
it was more than a gaffe. It was just malpractice. It cost Queens 30,000 high-paying jobs. It would have trickled down to so many local people and businesses, and she's proud of doing that. So we lost 30,000 jobs in the swipe of a pen.
She's proud of doing that?
She's very proud. It's one of her achievements, if any. She's been in Congress for 6 years, and this is not a Diamant versus Alexandria. I don't know her personally.
No, I'm asking because she is well known, and you are not known in politics, but I like that we have an Albanian that has the power of constructing businesses, that has the power of seeing the reality with other eyes, being in Kosovo, starting from the scratch, building your own dream, and now you think that's time for Albanian to be in Congress. And we support. We as Albanian, we as the Albanian TV of America, we support the involvement of all the Albanians, the young generation in the politics. Doesn't matter if it is a Republican or if it is Democrat Party. Everyone has his priorities. I like the fact that you're saying that in your campaign you have from different positions that are gathering and supporting you because you are not just so-called politician, but you are somebody that has built a business starting from the scratch and has his own company in building as much as I ever had. What is your opinion about the Albanians' need to be involved in politics?
The time has never been more important for Albanians to be involved in politics than now. After the war in Kosovo finished, our journey really began. Because until then, we had a dictator's grip around our throats, and we were not allowed to educate ourselves. We were not allowed to have any freedoms or liberties. And members of that government are still in power today, including the president, who was the minister during that genocidal regime in the 90s. And the Serbian government is spending upwards of $45+ million a year. That's open for anybody to look up in lobbying United States congressmen, United States senators, and presidents to get favorable likings and for us to lose our footing in the political world. We as Albanians are a very proud people, and we're all over the world in diaspora. And for a small population relative to other countries, we've made a big impact anywhere in the world that you go to, in medical, in arts, in construction, in real estate, teaching, doctors, every category you could think of, we're involved and we're excelling. And we need to have successful folks want to get into politics. It's not fun. You lose a lot of friends. You become, well, there's only two teams you can play for, a Republican team, Democrat team. And where I'm at in New York, the Democrats have control, and their ideology and mine are a little bit different, but majority of my friends are Democrats. So you find a position where you say, okay, I'm gonna run for office because it's time, and I happen to be Albanian. It's just like a bonus. And we need a representative in the halls of Congress. We're great at writing big checks to congressional members and senators, and we're invited to galas and dinners, and we're involved politically with our wallets, but we don't have that many folks that want to get involved and get into the fight. And when I decided to do it, and I looked at all the pros of doing it, being Albanian was a big pro for me because it's who I am, it's authentic to me, and it's the grit in me as an Albanian that can help me get there. We had, during pre-war in Kosovo, Joe Diogardi, a congressman from New York, was having a congressional hearing with a Serbian congresswoman from the States. And we have yet to have a Shqiptar sit in the halls of Congress. You referred to Robert earlier. I'm very proud to see him doing it. It's interesting that we're running at the same time. I'm rooting for him. And it would be really a big thing if we get two of us in there. But even if he gets in and I don't, or vice versa, I'm really happy if one of us can get there because we need representation in Washington.
I wish that. I wish with all my heart. Another question that I have. We as Albanian, you mentioned, as an individual, we are very successful. But we lose because we don't connect in the right time. We don't connect with each other. And one of the handicaps that the Albanian American have is they don't vote. So you have to fight for this too.
There's some truth to that, but I'll push back a little bit. Take example, our meeting. You've been persistent. As soon as you found out about me, you've called me, you stayed on top of it, and I'm on the campaign trail, I'm running a business, and I have a family, so I'm incredibly busy, and you did not let go of the opportunity to get to speak with me, and I appreciate that. Other Albanians have reached out to me as well. I think we've been conditioned to be really good to work independently in our own, because in our country, historically, we're never allowed to get together in groups, because imagine what we can accomplish if we galvanize and unify. You can drop us off, take 100 Albanians, drop them off into 100 locations of the world, go back 10 years later, and almost every one of them is doing something great with their life, in any metric or scale. But we're not used to getting together in a neighborhood or a community and then us all pushing it together. We did during the war. When there's something big going on, we can do it. And look what we did back then. We toppled the Yugoslav regime. We toppled their former president, who ended up taking his own life in The Hague. We're a powerful community when we get together for the right reasons. But we also need someone to rally behind, right? So if there's no candidates, we can't blame the community for not supporting when there's no candidates. And I came into this with a very positive outlook. I don't have a chip on my shoulder. I love the Albanian community. I happen to be an Albanian. Brezmas Brezi, I'm Shqiptar. So for me, it's my job to prove to them that I'm the candidate and I'm the guy to come out, listen to me. I listen to them, donate to my campaign, and watch what we do, and let's make history together. They have somebody to look at now.
You said donate. I know in the primary, all the challenge is money, because in American politics, there are two, money and voters. So votes and money. In the first phase, I see here with Robert, is money, because you have to have a certain amount of money. You have to show your party that you are reliable, that you can raise that amount of money in order to be electable. So
Sure.
How is going?
Good. We started the campaign in February. What I did I did a little bit different than most typical campaigns do, which is that when you start a campaign, what they do is they go to their friends and family first for donations to see if they have some support, and then they start their fundraising and usually start within your community and go out. I started within my own house. So I've started my campaign and I got the staffers that I needed, and I wanted to test the support from the public for my political ideology. And I put the whole infrastructure and foundation of a campaign like an elite politician has it, but as a newcomer. I spoke to the community and everybody to get a feeling of what everybody needs and wants. And when I saw that there was support for my campaign, I funded from that beginning to now, I funded it all personally with my own money, because I didn't think it was fair to use my community's money for something I didn't know whether it was viable or not. We see a path to victory and we have a vision to win. And I financed that myself. Now I'm having next month in October 23rd, we're having the campaign launch party in New York. I hope you can come out here and be part of that. I would love to have you and your team come. You'll get the invitation and you and your team can come. It would be an honor to have you guys. So that's going to be our official launch party. I'm going to have friends, I'm going to have family, I'm going to have local businesses and local folks that live in the neighborhoods all there. It's going to be an excellent party. And that's the first official fundraiser where I'm asking the community for money. And that's about 9 months after I started my campaign. So I've gotten it very far on my own, but now to turn this into a real thing, I need the support, and we have a real thing going.
How is the relation between the Albanian communities, Latino communities, Bengali communities that are population from Bangladesh? They are Muslim, but they maybe support you because you are a Muslim from Kosovo, because that is their mentality. You have to go with the mentality of various groups. And so I think that this conglomerate, this mosaic may have so the direction that will push you up. How you are working with different communities. You mentioned also Italian and Irish that are from long time in Bronx and in the area.
I think I'm in a unique position and uniquely qualified to handle this exact topic. It's touching for some people, it's sensitive. As Albanians, you know, we started out without any religion, and then we became Orthodox, and then we became Christian, and then we became Muslim, and then we had communism for 50 plus years. We weren't allowed to do anything, and now we're mixed. And I think the Albanian culture probably leads the world in the ability to coexist between faiths. I'm a prime example of that. I'm Muslim, my wife's Catholic. We have 2 beautiful children together. Our families live in harmony. We celebrate Bayram, we celebrate Christmas. We don't have that dividing factor which makes us feel superior or inferior to one or the other. I protect her rights with every ounce of my blood, and she does that for me. And that in itself is exactly what we as Albanians represent. And we can teach that culture to everyone because it's one of tolerance. And it goes parallel with the US Constitution, because we believe that all men are created equal and we have alienable rights. And this is very different than a lot of other countries. And I think I'm in a unique position to speak to the different nationalities and religions, and they can see in me that I'm like them. And I'm not going to favor one or the other because it just happens to be the timing, and I think it's time for me.
Okay, Diamond. Why New York is so leftist? Why a person like Mamdani comes as a potential mayor of New York? When I heard what he said, I remembered the times of the communists in Albania when I have to walk up at 4 o'clock in the morning to wait to get to get butter or something, a necessity. Just it remembers me that way of thinking is from a communist time, is not a socialist time. And you have one in your campaign, I read, that you had one of your promises that has to do with apartments, building for the people. What are the other points? And explain me this for the apartments, because I see Mamdani says he is for community apartments supported from the government and so on.
Well, so what you're referring to is affordable housing. And what affordable housing is in a nutshell is they take regular apartment buildings and the government subsidizes it. So in other words, someone who doesn't make as much money as you would need to live there, the government will step in and pay the difference for them. But New York City has the most regulations out of the country. We have the highest taxes in the country. And then New York City adds even more to that. So what Mamdani's promising is that he's going to freeze the rent, meaning your rent cannot increase anymore. But at the same time, the landlord or whoever owns the building, their taxes increase every year. Cost of energy has gone up 40%. Cost of living is unaffordable. And even in New York City, people that are making 6 figures a year still can't make it happen. And his message is resonating with the youth and with people in New York because they just can't afford things anymore. After COVID, things have been, they peaked and they never came down. Some things dropped a little bit, but overall, if you go out, you can go into a fast food chain like McDonald's and it's like you're going into an Italian restaurant, the prices that things cost nowadays. So people are frustrated and then they're tired of recycled, washed up politicians. So you have the same candidates that are running over and over and over. And he's new, he's young, and he's promising all these free things. And it's big to answer your question, why is leftist such a policy here? The city is geared that way. There's a lot of subsidies. They spent $4 billion on immigration during COVID to give to migrants to put them in hotels. We came here before the war in Kosovo. We didn't get any money like that. We didn't get put in hotels in Manhattan. I didn't get $10,000 a month. I didn't have free dental and health care paid by the US taxpayer. We had to assimilate and work our way up. So when you're offering all these free things, and it's a big screw you to the system because the people feel like they're getting crushed. But the problem with those policies is that if he had the power to do that, which he doesn't, but let's say he did, he wins and he can do all of that. He can make the buses for free. He can freeze the rent. He's going to offer government-run grocery stores. You and I historically know that that's a failure. It's a horrible idea. It's never going to work. But New Yorkers don't know that. You can say, "Oh my God, socialism is bad." No, and it's just a word to them. It means there's no connection to it. They've been raised in overall very comfortable conditions. They went to universities, they went to schools, good neighborhoods. So the word socialism in theory sounds good to them. So they're at the point where they want to taste the poison to see what it tastes like. And no matter how much you and I scream and say we know from experience it's not going to work, that's what they want to try right now.
It's hard to fight with their way of thinking.
If you become the way they're extreme left, if you become extreme right, then it's just two voices screaming at each other. I find I'm successful when I stay in the middle and I talk about points more than names. So I'm not interested in calling him a communist or a socialist. He calls himself that, so I don't have to call him that. I'm more focused on talking about the ideas and how do you implement them and what's the ramifications, because the people that are going to get hurt the most from those policies is the working man, is the small businesses, is the small land. We're not talking protecting corporate landlords, meaning big developers and real estate guys. We're talking about small family businesses that own real estate that are going to go out of business overnight because of these policies. Bodega stores, grocery stores, overnight out of business because of these policies. The MTA, which is where the buses come from, is the worst run organization in the country. They run a deficit every year. It's horribly mismanaged. There's waste and fraud from left, right, and center there. So it's just going to get worse. And I hope, I'm in the city now. I'm on 26th Street in my office, and I'm out here every day. And I cannot believe that the direction that people are openly willing to go into and try.
What is the status of your campaign? How you are doing in this moment?
We're doing good. We have the campaign launch party scheduled for next month. In between that, we have a bunch of fundraising events scheduled in small segments. I have a lot of friends and really patriotic people that have invited me, opened their doors to their restaurants, offered to do fundraisers for me. I'm going to the community boards. I'm going to the precincts. I'm going to local events. I'm going door-to-door knocking at the same time as raising my kids and running my business. So it's been 7 days a week, 16, 18 hours a day.
It's a storm. It's a storm.
We're documenting it, and a lot of it's going to be put out in time, and it's going to be it's very interesting to watch what I'm doing.
A word that I like too much is common sense. So
Common sense.
Are a common sense candidate, is not fighting from the extreme right to the extreme left, but for the ordinary people, for the ordinary New Yorkers, for the ordinary people that live in Bronx. And when is the primary election?
June of 2026.
June of 26. And
Yeah.
the general election are November 2026.
November 2026.
Okay. I wish you all the best for your work, for your involvement in politics. I wish that the Albanians that are successful people when they work for themselves to be a successful population that defends their descent, the Albanian spirit, shqiptarin, sepse është e nevojshme për çdo shqiptar, unë të uroj nga zemra që të fitosh, duhet luftuar dhe më pëlqen që ke gjetur një strategji që nuk është, kanë pasur dhe tentativa nga disa shqiptarë të tjerë për të zgjedhur, po nuk më ka pëlqyer mënyra e tyre se si janë involvuar në politika, po si kanë manovruar në situatën, edhe është very challengeable, si që thonë Amerikanët të shumë, betejja jote me një kandidat të mirë njohur, well known. You are well known from the name Diamond. She was well known for her abbreviation. I wish, and I said that you will win because a diamond is the strongest mineral in Earth. And by saying this word, I wish you all the best in your campaign. And I wish that all the Albanians to be involved, because they don't take for granted the American foreign policy. We have the situation now in Kosovo. We have to play by the rules. The big superpowers, they have their geopolitics, their way, how they want to govern the world, and nobody thinks every day for us as Albanians. So we have to be more clever as a government, both in Kosovo and in Albania. And on the other side, we need to have the same strength that you have during and after the Kosovo is liberated from Serbia, because the role of the Albanian lobbyism has little bit diminuted. So we need more Albanian spirit, and I hope your election, as my friend Lulgjuraj election, should be an example for all the Albanians, that we Albanians are able not only to earn, to be a good businessman, but to be a good politician for the Albanians, for the Americans, and for everybody, also for New Yorkers and the Bronx and the 14th District. I wish you all the best. We'll have another opportunity. We'll talk again. I will steal some of your busy time, but I do this with all my heart because we want the Albanians to win. We want the Albanians to be represented. We want the Albanian community to have 1, 2, 3, 4, its own caucus in the Congress and the Senate. And I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be on. And we got to be in it to win it. So if your audience can, you can go and votefordiamant.com, learn more about my campaign. And thank you for having me and all your kind words. And I really appreciate that. And now I'm fighting for New York 14 and all Albanians all across the world. It's our time, and I think we should really seize on the opportunity.
Thank you, Teno. Të dashur teleshikuesë të televizionit të shqiptarëve të Amerikës, këtu i dhan fund intervistës sonë me kandidatin Diamant Hysena, i cili po përpiqet të zgjidhet për Partinë Republikane në distriktin e 14 që mbulon 2 qendra, Queensin dhe Bronxin, të cilët janë qendra deri tani që anojnë majtas. Urimet më të mira Diamantit. Ju faleminderit.